He's just the start of the Big 12 and Power 5 talk to come. Listen to JJ and Alex Monday on your drive home. Afternoons from 3 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's a Sunday. It is 1st and 12. Mitch, Harper, Alex, Kirry, our illustrious producer, Eric Cabrera, as well. You can hear Eric during the week reporting at KSL News Radio, doing a phenomenal job there. One of these days we'll make him crack the mic, but as it stands, we just all get to chat during the week and have a good time doing this show. We have a blast doing it, and we only have a couple more weeks of being able to do it. So we appreciate all of you guys supporting the program and listening wherever you are. Podcast form, over the air on KSL News Radio, over the air on the KSL Sports Zone. We appreciate that support. Thanks so much. Tell everybody else about the Big 12 show that goes on Sundays on KSL News Radio and the KSL Sports Zone. All right, Mitch, my goodness. We have a lot of games to go over here. This is the final week of the regular season. Lots of implications here. It all starts off with Black Friday prices, discounted games on Sunday or on Friday. Games that we thought were going to be better games, and now they've been deeply discounted. They're on the clearance rack.
That is true. Oklahoma State at Colorado, 10 a.m. on ABC. I think everyone thought Oklahoma State's going to have Big 12 title aspirations. No, they're winless. And Colorado's got a slight chance, but they need chaos to happen, so not much is on the line in that one. And then a game that has absolutely nothing on the line, 6 p.m. prime time on Fox. 2 4-7 football teams, Utah at UCF. Again, maybe Utah treats it like a bowl game and says, you know what, hey, warm weather, Florida, get a chance of one final ride with this crew, make it count, and enjoy Thanksgiving with the guys. But, you know, that's a tricky spot. You probably have to leave, I would imagine, Wednesday, a 2-time zone game. It's a long trip to close out a season that's been underwhelming, but curious to see if the Utes try to, close it out on a high note.
Yeah, think about how weird this is. Mike Gundy is 0-8 in conference play. One of the longest tenured coaches in college football. One of the other most tenured college football coaches in the land is Kyle Whittingham at Utah. They play later that night. Could either one of those guys or both of those guys be just like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this whole thing? Kyle alluded to having to get that look in the offseason, like, we're going to look at it in the offseason, and it's something he has to consider. And I think most people think, no, he can't go out on a note like this. But the question is how long can he stick around to try to turn everything back around again? I mean, he doesn't want to keep doing this forever, but we'll see. All right, Saturday. The Saturday games kick off. Houston and BYU. We have a kick time. It's our favorite one, too. It's Eric's favorite one. 8:15 p.m. on ESPN, Houston at BYU. It's the final home game of the season for the Cougs. Hey, it's not just a late game. I mean, the chances of the weather being awesome are not good. It's going to be a cold one. That should bode well for BYU. Houston comes into town. I don't know when the last time the Houston Cougars came to Provo, but
2014.
There you go. So BYU hosts Houston. They win that game, and then they have just a couple other things that are really just one other thing that needs to happen. They need Kansas State to beat Iowa State. That game's going to be 5:30 on Fox. They will know where their fate sits likely at that time. That game's going to be kicked off on Fox. Arizona State and Arizona kick off at 1:30. Now, if either one of those games goes the direction of the underdog, if Kansas State beats Iowa State, BYU would be in if they beat Houston. And then Arizona State, if they lose to Arizona, BYU would also be a part of that as well if they beat Houston. So a couple scenarios in there, and it's not totally impossible, obviously. The Kansas State game at Iowa State, probably the best scenario there for BYU to be able to do it. But we've seen wilder things happen, so it's definitely on the table there. And those are the games that have the most implications from a conference championship standpoint.
Unfortunate that the league gives BYU a late night on a holiday weekend game, third home game this season that BYU gets the 8:15 spot. I know that Big 12 After Dark is a big reason why this league is still standing, and TV, owns basically the rights to these teams. I get it, but that's not a great fan experience. 8:15. Imagine a scenario too, Alex, where Iowa State takes care of business and ASU takes care of business. Nothing's on the line. And
right.
You're like, I'm spending my late night in Provo. If you're a Cougar fan, thinking, I'm not going to freeze my behind, off to
Right.
watch a game till midnight and get home at 2 a.m. with nothing
Right.
on the line. Maybe you still want to see it because you love the team, and I get that. And
I
for
honestly
those fans,
thought,
but it's a tough spot though for fans.
I honestly thought it was going to be Arizona State at night late. That made sense to
Exactly.
me, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're like, and I mean, forgive me, I can't remember what their deal is with daylight savings or not. Are they on Pacific time right now, or are they on
Same
the same
time
one
as
we are?
Utah right now.
Okay, so either way though, it's the same time zone, and they're two teams from this time zone, and so that to me, and there's championship implications in that game as well.
Exactly.
Either way for Arizona State, so. I mean,
You
what
would
are
have
we?
gained eyeballs.
What are we, Mitch? Just people who could tell Brett Yormark how to do his job better. That's all. It's fine.
Well,
it's fine.
Listen, guys, thanks for the recommendation. I'll get back to you on that.
I'll get back to you. Oh,
Kansas at Baylor, 10 a.m. ESPN2. Again, I think that's just kind of an intriguing Big 12 game
Sure,
to see
yeah.
who closes out on the high note
And
in
look,
the regular
watch
season.
Watch Kansas. That's a really freaking good football team
yeah.
right now. Like, it's a really cool thing to see what these guys have done to turn things around. TCU goes to Cincinnati. That's over on ESPN Plus, Mitch. Is it the Plus like we used to watch when I was at BYU as a student?
Not K-Jazz 14,
okay.
no. It's TCU Cincy on ESPN Plus, the digital streaming one. West Virginia at Texas Tech, 10 a.m. FS1. If you're tuning into that one, you have to be medically checked because you are a sick individual, and
Why
we
would you do
love
that?
you. That's why you listen to
Of course.
First and 12. And First and 12, of course, is brought to you by Macy's Grocery Store. Get the freshest fruits and vegetables from local farms and your favorite local brands. Macy's, happy shopping. I think that Week 14 slate's a lot of fun, Alex.
Yep. Don't forget the rolls this week, by the way, at Macy's. All right,
yeah.
This is one of those weeks you better tune in and heed our warning about going to hit up a Macy's before everybody else does for Thursday. Mitch, the slate is stacked, and of course, lots of implications for this weekend. And the good news is at least there is a local team that we're able to still chat about the possibility of being in the Big 12 championship game. It's the local team we did not think we were going to be talking about this time of year, but such is football, and that's why we like this sport so much. Mitch Harper, Alex Kirry, our producers, Eric Cabrera, every week right here on KSL News Radio and on the KSL Sports Zone. So for both of those guys, I'm Alex. We will be back again next week for another edition of First and 12. So until then, everybody, we'll see you next time. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone and KSL News Radio.